Hey guys, Ted here again, doing another fine painting for you. And let's see here. Got our 12 by 16 once again in the landscape orientation. It's really up to you which direction you do this. You can create all sorts of cool things by just taking the same composition and flipping it 90 degrees and trying it with less room on the sides or more room on the sides, depending on which way you do these. I don't know if there's really any theory behind what a composition represents. If it's in a portrait mode, they just call it portrait mode because I'm assuming that's where you got the taller canvases is when you're doing a person's portrait. Well, we certainly do landscape paintings while the canvas is in portrait, so it doesn't really matter. Now I know I put a little too much on there. I can see that it's a little bit overloaded. So I'm gonna give it a quick once over with the paper towel. That takes it off quick, and then even it right back out with my brush here. And if I give it my little fingertip test, we could still see our grooves of our finger through the paint, so we know we don't have too much. Whether or not that's going to work for you is up to you. You know, different canvases react to different amounts. So once again, you gotta experiment. I'm taking off a little bit more. I'm going to try to use very, very little liquid white here. Okay, so I've got my dirty old palette here from my previous painting. I didn't even want to clean it up. I'm just going to add a little bit of the Prussian blue to my 1-inch brush here. Probably should have cleaned it off because I just got yellow up in the brush on accident just by tapping. A little too hard. So let's just see here. We got some Prussian blue there. We've got some Prussian blue here. We got Prussian blue here. And we got some Prussian blue just kind of everywhere. I'm not even going to worry about it. Put some color out there and then start, just going over it. See that? The harder you push, the more you'll move color. You can fill in some of those areas. The lighter you touch will take out any pesky brush marks. Look at that. We got darks, we got lights. Stop and clean out your brush. Hit it one last time. There you go. And then you can decide, you know what? I do want it darker. I do want it bolder than that. Especially right up in the corners there. Get it on. Blend it briefly as to not let it mix too much. You got it. You got it. So, in my previous painting here, I used up all my white. So let's just clean that up real quick as to not contaminate anything and just give that area a quick little buff with the paper towel. See? All better. Now I can put out my white. And let's see here. With my Oh, I'll just use another brush here. Picking up some color, tapping it, picking up some color, tapping it, working it into the brush. Let's go ahead and get a basic cloud shape out there. Plenty of paint, just sort of tap. Making some interesting shapes there. Trying to leave those outside edges alone, you know, you get those bright bits out there. Try not to blend them all away. Ooh, I'm just doing all of them at once, aren't I? All right. I come back with my 2-inch brush. Barely touch. Look at this. Just barely whisper over these clouds. That's all we're looking for there. I think that's it. All right, look at that. So, I'm going to take, a little bit of that Prussian blue and some Van Dyke brown. Just kind of work them together here. Just a nice dull, darker blue. And, we're going to have all sorts of peaks here today. We got our main peak. Let's just say somewhere right around here. How high? I don't know. Something like that. Kind of comes down a little bit. Maybe there's another little peak right here. Comes down a little bit. Maybe another peak right here. And then maybe it just kind of meanders off over there. We got peaks on peaks on peaks here. And push a little bit of that paint in and scrape some off. I went outside my border there, so I just got to change something, like make it a little different to cover up that little oopsie, little happy accident there. There we go. There we go. There we go. So yeah, it gets them up on my knife. When I scrape it off, I push it in somewhere and then scrape it off again, and that puts a little bit more there. Sort of doing all those things at once. Scraping, smearing, scraping again. Now, whatever color's left, we'll take care of with our brush. Now, I don't have a clean 1-inch brush here, so I'm going to give one a quick dip in the paint thinner. A good one on the easel and my bucket. Bucket first. Any residuals on the easel, and then I give it a little stir into the paper towel. Make sure it's all free of paint thinner. I'm going to show you a little trick here. Sometimes I'll direct my students to take the knife and drag these little lines down on each of your peaks, and when you're building this out, try to just take the right side of that line and only go to the right. Left side of the line, that's what you pull to the left. And look at this, we can go down as far, build this mountain down as far as we want, just by bringing the right side to the right, Figure out what peak you want in front and just pull it right on through. And then the left side here, you gotta find those little angles here. And whatever you didn't pull to the right, that's what goes to the left. Maybe this little thing happening here, I don't know. All we're trying to do is figure out some basic shapes, and we can change them as we go. If you don't like it, you can change it. You just have to kind of work the whole thing. Don't get caught up in one spot over and over again. Pull that color out, then figure out what peaks you want in front. Sometimes these little whoopsos will happen. See that? So you just have to redefine the edge of your mountain, scrape off the excess, then just be even more gentle with your brush here. And smooth it out. So look at this. We got all sorts of peaks. Some are in front, some aren't in front, you know, they're behind. It's okay. You get to play around with it and you get to change your mind as much as you want. For now, that's what we're doing. We got an idea here. So I'm going to get a roll of paint on my knife. No pressure. Just let this paint come off on its own. Just barely little pets. See that? When I'm teaching my students here, you know, Bob has this big wad of color and he'll start up here and he'll make these long pulls. I'm telling you, it's a little tough to do when you're new. So you don't have to do these full long pulls right off the bat. Well, let's work our way up to it. We work our way up to it. So by the time we get over to here, we have a little bit more experience here, but look at this, just a little touch. I pivot the knife, keeping this corner right along my top edge. So you just pivot the knife and these little pets. See how we get it started? Now that we have it started, you see here, started like this, now I'm right here, so you can just continue on. And the wider you pull the knife, the more you pivot it, the wider this little pathway starts to form. And you just practice with little extensions of your touch. Build your way up to be able to make a nice pathway all at once. You can see here, just start small and build your way to make longer ones as you get more comfortable with the motion. Okay, let's see what we're doing here. I think I'm just going to switch to the small side of my knife. That way I can just do little bits here, but the technique is the same. Getting some out here. I'm just really focusing on the right side of my peaks. Not even worry about finishing it all up. We're going to come back to this as we need to here. So for this one here, you can see sometimes you got to stop and remake your pile here. I might not have enough paint. I definitely don't have enough paint, but I might have enough just for this one last go round here. Very light touch. Feeling that paint just dance off the knife. No pressure. Just let it fall off. Need more paint. So we got something going here, don't we? Look at all this. You can already start to see this looking kind of craggy. So let's come up here and let's create our shadow color. I've got some Prussian blue, a little bit of phthalo blue also, and my white. I pull it out so it's kind of mixed and marbly and, you know, little streaks of color here and there. So, of course, when I cut off my roll of paint, you got all those different shades all mixed up in your roll. And I'll come up here and just lightly touch and pull away. Just worried about the bulk right now. I know there's some areas there you want to sneak in. I'm just worried about the bulk here. Now this over here, just focusing on getting that color to move over a different angle than the highlights. You know, we got a different thing going on here between the highlights and the shadows. A couple of different directions here. So, I'm working it, moving on. I don't want to get hung up in any one spot here right now. We'll come back and do some little details. Little bits of shadow in between my peaks, my highlights. Reload your knife as often as you need to. Remember to wipe your knife clean so you can see that you got the knife loaded good enough. Okay. Now just to play around with a little detail, got a little bit on my small edge of my knife, and that's where I can sneak these little ones up here, all these little gaps as I need to. And there is a lot of detail work you can do just by doing that. But then, before I do too many more details here, I'm going to change something up. I need to get a little bit more highlight in that area there. Change this completely, put another little ridge here. Maybe just bring it right on through. Definitely in front now, isn't it? Put that new highlight on and come back and give that new highlight its own little shadow there. Ooh, there we go. Look at that. Okay. Maybe we got a little highlight coming through this little, I'm not sure what these are, these little gaps, these little ridges of highlights and shadows. I guess that's what they are, little ridges. So, here and there, maybe the sun is striking on these. And where the sun isn't striking, that's where you'd see the shadows. Very cool, huh? Sometimes you change the angle, gives a whole new dimension to things. Maybe this little section comes out even further. There we go. That is some good stuff there. So, let's take our not clean brush. Let's give it a quick clean again. It really helps to have a clean, dry brush. And I'm going to tap and sweep. Create a little mist and fog here at the base. You know, I did it again. I built my mountains down a little bit further than I intended to. Well, mountain really makes it look, I guess the mountain is the focus now. A little bit of mist on the highlight side as well. Lots and lots of little tappies. So I've got a couple of days off from my classes here, and I'll tell you, I get bored very quickly. So if I'm not teaching painting, there's a good chance I'm just painting. Look at that, mountain heaven. So, boy, Bob did this painting on a 18 by 24, and his mountains ended at the halfway point. Whoops! I made mine a little bit too low, but that's all right. When I change it up a little bit here, it's going to be just fine. So, let us take our Prussian blue, some brown, little dark sienna I had left over, some darks colors here, add some green to it. I don't think I'll have enough paint to finish, so nothing wrong with taking a little bit more. I got this tube, it's almost empty here, so I bet I'm going to have a lot left over now once I put a little more on here. You gotta have the right amount of paint to do the tricks. And sometimes that results in leftover paint. That's why I'm doing 2 videos today. And you'll notice here, there's a good tip for you painters here and new painters. You get these big tubes of paint, and they're oil paint. They do dry, so you're going to get some little dry bits here near the end of your tube. Usually it doesn't affect your painting so much, not in this style. You're doing a bunch of fine detail work, yeah, you're gonna worry about those little lumps of color. But when we're just bashing on tons of paint at once, not a problem. So, look at that brush. That brush is full of white. I probably should have wiped it out on my napkin first, but ooh, well. One last devil beat. Clean, clean. All right, fan brush time. Ooh, this brush is stiff. Oh, this brush might be wasted. Oh, it is so rock hard. We'll give it a try. I might have to switch to a different brush. Well, putting the trees right over the mountains here. We gotta recover some room. Oh boy. Still getting a tree out of it. Really gotta bend those bristles though. As long as that paint sticks right on top, we get a nice impression here of depth and distance in our painting. Let's just bring it down a little bit more. Something tells me I want to see that little ridge there. Maybe this will just become a ridge. What do you think? Ooh, boy, that brush is pretty wasted. Ooh, I like that. I know we don't normally sketch in things there, but just kind of giving an idea where I'm going to go. Let's add another tree right here. There we go. And maybe a little guy right here. I don't know what's gonna go there. Got some ideas. All right. This brush, I do believe, is seen its last tree. I'll soak it in some stuff. What happens is a little bit of residue gets caught up in there and then it dries. And, you know, things happen. Maybe let's put a couple little bushes out here on the ridge. Just by tapping some color. Now I break that up a little bit. A little ridge of bushes. Breaking that area up. I like that. Now, I'll take a little bit of that Van Dyke brown. I don't have any left, but I'll get some. Some Van Dyke brown here. Pull it out nice and flat, get a roll of color off of it. Maybe we'll have kind of a cut, a little break, a little something. It's some earth. It's right on the edge of an overhang here. Okay. Take just a touch of that brown and some of my titanium white. Let's mix up a little color here. Do I have any dark sienna left? I got it over here. You could do it with just white and brown, or you can mix it up a little bit, have some fun dark sienna in there. Wipe your knife, get a roll, just like snow on the mountain. We want to graze it. Let it come off. Very gentle. Just trying to create some highlights here in this earth. Now if I were to go back with just a little bit brighter, a little heavier on the white here, maybe I could put a little highlight to the highlight. There we go. Okay. Now I think, just while I have it here, I'm going to take some of that color and just get some up in here now. This is just my dark shadows of my grass and so forth. No big deal. This is all getting covered up anyway, so just put it on there. Now where? Maybe something right like that. Maybe a little higher. There we go. Is that grass? I don't really know. I could put a little something right there to break up the edge. We're going to try to keep this looking like a separate hill here. We'll figure that out later. Something like that. All right. So, a little bit more of the yellow. We got to mix up our highlight color here. I'm going to start with the trees and work our way. A little bit of green. Liquid white is to thin the paint down so that it sticks. Maybe a little bit of this dark color to dull it down a little. Ooh, I like that. Lots of color in the brush, pulled nice and smooth. And let's go ahead and put in some little highlights on this tree first. And then this bigger guy here. Light little taps. I'm just using the center of the brush to create these little frowns. See that? Little frowns. And then building out the little section, dropping down. Maybe a little brighter ones over on the left side here. Don't have too much to highlight on this back one. There, that's all it needs. All right, now coming in here with a little bit of that paint on my 1-inch brush, let's put a little highlight on this grass. I'm going into a little bit of the yellow, the green, just changing the color up slightly. Putting some highlight up there, just deep, 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 deep. Just dancing it on there, wherever it may be. And, you know, maybe there's a little red one right under here. And then a little yellow one there. So, you want to make one a little bit bigger. You got to get more paint into the brush. Lots of these little stipples. You see that texture right here? You want to see that texture. That way when you come up to the canvas, it comes off very, very distinctly. Remember, this is paint on top of paint. So we just want to stick it right on top. That's what will give us our look. Now I take my knife, I can scratch in those little dark areas. A couple of little highlights there. Little sticky things. Then let's come back here and dull this down a little bit, change the color once again. And using my fan brush, I'm going to create some grass here. You can see that one little brushful just on the left side of my fan brush is enough to do a lot here. Just keep tapping backwards. Let it get duller and duller. When you reload the brush, it comes off a little stronger. And then it just keeps getting duller and duller again. Change up the colors here and there. You get all sorts of effects. Little light effects. The light is striking some parts a little stronger than others. If it's all the same color, it'd look kind of boring, wouldn't it? Now you can see I got those nice light effects like here and here, maybe just a little bit more right here. Got to get the right color on your brush and just tap a little in. Tap a little in. Give a little fun thing there. And maybe here and there with whatever color, make sure you hide that area where the rock is. We want that rock to be kind of overgrown with the grass. So if you bring the grass just a little bit over, it just starts to make sense. And then we got the grass continuing underneath. So let's see about getting that grass underneath the cut too. Lot of tapping. You could do this in about 4 seconds with the 1-inch brush. We might do that. You could put in all sorts of different kinds of grass too. You can have it be a little more vertical, a little taller looking grass. Just by changing the shape, I can give a little bit of detail to this grass as it's coming forward a little bit. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Little pushes here. You start to see little things start to crop up. It's up to you if you want to keep going with that. If you don't like it, you can immediately come back and just tap in your flat grass. You can just shrink those right down, make them disappear. But I think a little variation there is fun, so maybe some shorter grass. You know, sometimes there's these gaps here. Just got to put something in there. One or the other. And then to show you, with the 1-inch brush, if you saw any of my recent videos, I've done this 1-inch brush grass a lot. So a little bit of the green, liquid white, some of the yellow, just pushing it forward, getting some paint right up there. And on this one here, look at this. Look how fast this happens. Same concept applies. You drop it in, work your way back, let it just mix with that undercolor and let it get darker and darker. Because when you come back with a little bit more paint and it's a little bit brighter again, that's when it stands out. Maybe a little bit more of the green, a little bit of my undercolor. If you want it duller, plenty of paint right up on the tips of the bristles. Come in here. Ooh, look at that. Definitely a little more detail to this grass here. There we go. And once in a while I'll come back here, get something that's significantly brighter, just like I did here. A couple little extra highlights there. A couple little extra highlights on this one here. This little landmass here. See that? Ooh, look at that. Kind of a hill going on here, huh? Okay, well, nothing wrong with adding something now. I've done this a couple of times here. You know what? I just want a little bit of practice. This tree here, he's defying nature here. He's going to grow right on a hill. Ooh, and it's big. I didn't mean for it to be this big. That's just what happens here with my knife. Ooh boy. I thought I had plenty of paint to do this, and now I'm not so sure. Ooh boy, this one just got so big. Uh-oh. Can't believe I made this tree so big. I'm actually having to scrape a little color off and then just move it up. Doing a little fiddling. There we go. That is a big old tree. Let's put some highlight on it. Look at that. Little little extra bright stuff just right about there. And then, I don't do this often enough. Get that little touch of the Prussian blue, if I have any left. Oh man. And put a little bit of that deep shadow on the other side. It's tough to see, mainly because there's so little there. I'll tell you what, I'm going to cheat a little bit and use a little bit of the phthalo blue. There it is. So maybe this is a big old pine tree or a different kind of old dead tree. I might have to make this just a touch more of the Van Dyke Brown. I'm going to thin down this color as thin as milk. You really want it to flow. And there it is. Even the little guy up there. Maybe that thing just goes right on off. Again, I'm going to cheat a little bit, just drop a little bit of branches with my oval brush. I didn't feel like cleaning the fan brush. Ooh, look at that, right on over the mountain colors there. And using my little highlight color, put something out there. Not sure about that one, but it's there now. And can't forget to come back here and hide the little foots. There we go. There we go. Look at that. I think we got ourselves a finished painting. Let's go ahead and put a little signature on there. Ooh, I think I just changed my entire signature in just one little go there. T and an S, 24. Well, today was a great day. I really love that big old mountain. Turned out to be pretty nice here. Look at a little tiny bit of mist. What I didn't paint becomes part of the painting. I love that. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you enjoyed the slightly weird camera angle. So hopefully you could see it better. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, everyone. Have a great day.